What if every single health problem you are dealing with right now, the brain fog that makes you feel like you are thinking through wet concrete, the anxiety that hits at 3 in the morning for absolutely no reason, the skin that no cream has permanently fixed, the stubborn weight that refuses to leave no matter what you eat, the bone-deep exhaustion that makes mornings feel like punishment? What if every single one of those problems traced back to one root cause? One system, one organ you have never thought twice about. In 2026, the science is no longer debatable. The world's top gastroenterologists, neurologists, and immunologists are all reaching the same conclusion in their peer-reviewed papers and conference keynotes. Heal your gut. Fix everything. That is not a wellness influencer talking. That is the output of over 4,000 independent peer-reviewed studies published in the last 3 years. Today, you are going to understand exactly why that is true, how the cascade destroys your health silently from the inside out, and what the 3-step protocol looks like that is already transforming lives right now. Stay with me, because what comes next will completely reframe how you see your body. And the symptoms you have been told are just something you have to live with. They are not something you have to live with. They are signals, and your gut has been screaming at you for a very long time. Here is what the science actually says, and I mean the science that goes well beyond eat more yogurt. Your gut is not a food processing tube. That is an outdated and dangerously incomplete way to think about it. Your gut is an intelligent, living ecosystem that controls approximately 80% of your entire immune system. 80%. That means if your gut is compromised, your immune system is compromised by default. And no supplement overrides that biological reality. It goes even deeper. Your gut produces roughly 90% of your body's serotonin, not your brain, your gut. The vagus nerve runs a two-way communication highway directly between your gut microbiome and your central nervous system. Your mood, your anxiety, your ability to focus, your emotional regulation, all physiologically tied to what is happening inside your intestinal lining right now. The gut operates in cascade. When it breaks down, it does not create one problem. It triggers a domino effect across every major system in your body simultaneously. Immunological dysfunction, neurological disruption, hormonal imbalance, metabolic breakdown, inflammatory overload, all from one failing ecosystem. This is the gut cascade, and most people are living inside it without knowing it. Drop a comment right now and tell me one symptom you have been carrying that no doctor has ever been able to explain. By the end of this, you are going to see it completely differently. Dysbiosis, leaky gut, inflammation everywhere. Let's start with the numbers. Dysbiosis is the clinical term for when your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria, fungi, and microorganisms in your intestinal tract, falls out of balance. Harmful strains outnumber the beneficial ones. A landmark 2024 study in Cell Host and Microbe found dysbiosis present in over 73% of patients with chronic inflammatory conditions, including irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, and rheumatoid arthritis. Here is the mechanism. When harmful bacteria dominate, they produce endotoxins called lipopolysaccharides, LPS. These attack the tight junction proteins in your intestinal lining, the barrier that allows nutrients in and keeps pathogens out. When LPS destroy those junctions, your gut becomes permeable. Partially digested food particles, bacterial fragments, and toxins pour into your bloodstream. Your immune system mounts a full inflammatory response. Cytokines flood your system. That inflammation crosses the blood-brain barrier, disrupts your endocrine system, and accumulates in joint tissue, skin cells, and arterial walls. This is how one broken gut ecosystem creates systemic, whole-body inflammation, the underlying driver of nearly every chronic disease killing people in 2026. The NIH formally classified intestinal permeability disorder in 2025. Dysbiosis rarely announces itself dramatically. It creeps. It shows up as persistent low energy, irregular digestion you have learned to accept, or a skin condition treated symptomatically for years without anyone looking at the real source. 9 cascade fixes. The cascade works in both directions. A broken gut creates systemic dysfunction across 9 major systems. A healed gut creates systemic restoration across those same 9. Fix 1. Brain fog. The microbiome produces neurotransmitter precursors regulating cognitive clarity. Restore beneficial bacteria, and studies show measurable improvement in mental clarity within 3 weeks. The fog lifts because you fix the factory producing your cognitive fuel. Fix 2. Anxiety and mood. When the gut heals, serotonin precursor production normalizes. GABA, the neurotransmitter that calms your nervous system, is also regulated by gut microbiota. A 2024 Oxford randomized trial showed a 32% reduction in generalized anxiety scores over 8 weeks through microbiome restoration alone, without a single psychiatric medication. Fix 3. Skin. When your gut is permeable and cytokines circulate, your skin becomes a secondary route to expel inflammatory load. Acne, eczema, rosacea, psoriasis, treated at the surface while the fire burns underground. Heal the gut and the skin clears. Fix 4. Weight and metabolism. Specific strains, particularly Akkermansia mucinifera, are strongly associated with lean body composition and insulin sensitivity. Dysbiosis creates weight gain, genuinely resistant to caloric restriction because metabolic machinery is broken at the microbial level. Fix 5. Hormones. Your gut estrobolome directly metabolizes estrogen. When disrupted, estrogen is over or undercleared, driving PMS severity, perimenopausal symptoms, and thyroid disruption. Fix 6. Immunity. The gut trains immune cells to distinguish between threats and non-threats. Dysbiosis disrupts that training, producing autoimmunity, food sensitivities, and chronic infections. Fix 7. Sleep quality. Gut bacteria regulate melatonin precursors and influence circadian rhythm gene expression. Higher microbial diversity equals significantly better deep sleep architecture and lower nighttime cortisol. Fix 8. Energy and mitochondria. Butyrate produced by beneficial bacteria during fiber fermentation directly supports mitochondrial biogenesis across multiple tissue types. Better gut, better cellular energy. Fix 9. Mental resilience. A healthy gut sends regulatory signals through the vagus nerve that increase stress tolerance, reduce amygdala overactivation, and support neuroplasticity. 9 systems, 9 cascade fixes, 1 root cause. Real stories, real results. Marcus, 41, software engineer, 3 years of unexplained fatigue destroying his career. 8 specialists, every conventional blood panel, all came back normal. Nobody tested his microbiome. When a comprehensive gut panel was finally run, near total absence of Akkermansia mucinifera, severely depleted lactobacillus diversity, elevated intestinal permeability markers. A gut quietly failing him for years, while every specialist looked downstream and missed the actual source. 12 weeks into a targeted gut restoration protocol, Marcus's energy returned to levels he had not felt since his late 20s. Brain fog lifted completely. He described it as removing a compression sleeve from his entire brain. He lost 14 pounds without changing caloric intake. His sleep normalized completely. Sarah, 34, had managed eczema since her teenage years. 2 dermatologists, 1 allergist, multiple prescription topicals, temporary relief, followed by return of symptoms every time. When she began gut healing focused on anxiety reduction, not even thinking about her skin, Her eczema began clearing at week 6. By week 10, it was the best her skin had looked since childhood. David, 52, pre-diabetic, 40 pounds overweight, broken sleep every night despite 8 hours in bed. Standard gut restoration protocol, 12 weeks, blood sugar normalized, 22 pounds lost, joint inflammation markers down 40%. These are expected outcomes when you treat the actual root cause instead of managing symptoms in isolation. What is the one symptom nobody has ever truly solved for you? Drop it in the comments. 3-step gut restoration protocol, 3 steps, non-negotiable sequence. Rearrange them and results drop dramatically. Step 1, eliminate. Stop actively destroying your microbiome before attempting to rebuild it. Biggest offenders, ultra-processed foods containing emulsifiers like carboxymethylcellulose and polysorbate 80, which disrupt tight junction proteins and degrade the protective mucin layer lining your gut. Artificial sweeteners sucralose and saccharin, shown in controlled studies to negatively alter microbial composition within 2 weeks of daily use. Chronic NSAID use. Unnecessary antibiotics, chronic psychological stress, which alters gut motility through the HPA axis. Alcohol beyond occasional moderate use. The gut cannot heal under continuous assault. Step 2, repopulate. High-quality, multi-strain probiotic supplementation with documented clinical evidence for each specific strain. Targeted prebiotic fiber to fuel the strains you are introducing. Found in green bananas, cooked and cooled potatoes, garlic, leeks and chicory root. Real fermented foods with live cultures, lacto-fermented vegetables, raw kefir, genuine miso, tempeh. Polyphenol-rich foods that selectively feed beneficial strains, dark berries, extra virgin olive oil, green tea, dark cocoa. Step 3, maintain. Restoration without maintenance is temporary. Consistent sleep rhythms, because circadian disruption measurably destabilizes the microbiome. Regular physical movement, which increases microbial diversity independent of diet. Stress regulation practices that downregulate the HPA axis. For this protocol, Prime Biome functions as a meaningful accelerator for steps 2 and 3. Strain selection based on documented clinical efficacy, a delivery mechanism protecting bacterial viability through gastric acid transit, and a built-in prebiotic matrix feeding the strains you are introducing. All the relevant information is in the description below. Free resource, plus Prime Biome. Before you close this, a free resource that makes a real difference starting tomorrow. We created the Anti-Mental Fog Lunch Checklist, available free through the link in the description right now. It includes a 1-page printable guide to building every lunch in a way that actively supports your gut microbiome and optimizes your afternoon mental performance. The specific prebiotic and polyphenol foods that feed your beneficial gut bacteria. Anti-inflammatory proteins that eliminate post-meal energy crashes that most people accept as completely normal. Drinks and additives to cut immediately because they are destroying the ecosystem you are working to build. And the one structural meal composition principle that functional medicine practitioners use themselves to maintain mental clarity without obsessive food tracking. Brain fog is one of the most debilitating symptoms of gut dysbiosis, and lunch is where most people make it dramatically worse every single day without realizing it. The wrong foods spike blood sugar, trigger a crash, and guarantee your afternoon feels like cognitive quicksand. The right foods feed your gut, support serotonin production, and give you a genuine mental second wind. The Anti-Mental Fog Lunch Checklist is free. The link is in the description. Prime Biome information is right there alongside it. Subscribe. The next episode goes deep on the gut hormone connection and the estrobolome. The science is here. The tools are already here. Start today. Thanks for watching. Like, share, a comment and subscribe.